My name is Cale Brennan, 18 years with the Park Service. I know the land, or I thought I did. I know tracks, bears, the difference between panic and purpose, I guess. What I found deep in Tongass wasn't a bear. It wasn't hypothermia. It was something older. I still don't have the right words for it. The float plane dropped us just after dawn. Cold as hell, maybe 34, 35 degrees. My partner was Sully Iverson, 9 years on the job. Solid as they come. Never saw her flinch at a grizzly, not once. We had standard gear, GPS comms, 44 Magnums, 72-hour rations. Simple recovery mission. Experienced kayaker missed his check-in by 12 hours. Routine, that's what I kept telling myself. When we landed, the first thing that hit me was the quiet. No gulls, no ravens, nothing. The air felt, I don't know how else to say this, it felt vacuumed, like the whole coastline was holding its breath. Sully noticed too, but we logged it and kept moving. You do that long enough in this job, you start ignoring your gut. Big mistake. We found the kayak beached perfectly. Bow pulled up onto gravel, stern kissing the waterline. No damage. Gear secured, paddle clipped, PFD folded neat inside the cockpit. Everything in place except the man who paddled it there. That's when Sully called me over. Barefoot prints, human, leading straight from the kayak. Now, I've seen paradoxical undressing before. Late-stage hypothermia makes people strip down, confused, disoriented. But these weren't. The stride was even, deliberate. And then, mid-stride, they changed. The heel impressions faded, the arches narrowed. And the next step, I measured it, I have photos. The next step belonged to a river otter, but way too large. 3 inches across, maybe 25% bigger than anything recorded in this region. The tracks just continued into the forest. Straight line, like something had shed its shape, and kept walking. I was photographing the prints when we heard the voice. Help me, clear as day, right beside us. I'd listened to the kayaker's voicemail that morning. It was his voice, exact match. But it wasn't muffled by distance or trees. It was right there. Wrong, all wrong. We moved toward it. The ground was trembling under the moss. I remember that because it made my boots vibrate. Near this big Sitka spruce, we found his clothing, folded, stacked like a ritual or something. The fabric was soaked in seawater, even though we were 400 yards inland. The smell, ammonia, copper, and this electric thing, like before lightning strikes. You know that smell? His phone was in the jacket pocket, waterproof case, still worked. Last text said, "At the cove, beautiful here. See you in 3 days." The tracks ended at this small seep of black water bubbling from the ground. No return prints, just termination, like he stepped into the earth itself. Sully was staring at the pool and she said, her voice was shaking. She said, "Cale, Elder Tagish told me about this place." I cut her off, told her we follow the evidence. We find the man, standard procedure. But I already knew. Something in my gut was screaming. We went deeper into the muskeg. The smell followed us, salt and blood, which made no sense that far inland. And then the trees opened up into this clearing and 7 bodies, perfect circle around a pool of black water, all face down, all drowned, except the nearest tide was half a mile away and 60 feet below us. Their mouths were packed with kelp and silt. Their eyes were gone, tongues, fingertips removed, precisely, like surgery. The newest body had a black G-Shock watch. The kayakers. I called for evac. While I'm on the radio, Sully grabs my arm. She's staring at the tree line and she whispers, "Cale." Then from the shadows, I hear my own voice. "Sully, come here. I found something." But I was standing right next to her. The voice came again. Same tone, but too precise, like someone reading a transcript of me. Then it spread to our radios. Static, false orders, coordinates. It was using our voices to separate us. Sully broke. She ran for the pool screaming, "It's Emma! I hear my daughter!" But Emma was safe in Anchorage, hundreds of miles away. I tackled Sully maybe 3 feet from the water, and that's when I saw it. Something rose from the black water, fluid, towering, wrong. Its limbs bent in ways bones don't. Its fur gleamed like wet kelp. The face kept shifting, human to animal to something in between. Black eyes, no light in them, none, and its mouth stretched too wide, lined with teeth like broken glass. It smiled at me, and in my voice, my exact voice, it said, "We follow the evidence. We find this man." Then it slid under the surface without a sound. I don't really remember running. My lungs were burning. We made it to some rocky rise and tried the radio again, but the signal was gone. Just my own words playing back, distorted, mocking. She was gone, mentally, fractured. The thing came again, dragging itself out of the bog, walking on 2 legs this time, webbed claws, too many joints, no soul behind those eyes. It stood there watching us, and then it said, calm as anything, in my voice again, "We follow the evidence. We find this man." And it charged. I fired 3 rounds center mass. It shrieked like tearing metal but didn't fall. Sully emptied a whole can of bear spray in its face. Nothing. Then I remembered. Elder Tagish once told me, if the Kushtaka hunts you, offer tobacco and cedar. Walk backward. Never turn your back. I scattered tobacco between us and pulled Sully back, step by step. We didn't turn around. The creature stopped at the offering, tilted its head, studying us. Then it spoke, not in my voice this time, but something deeper, like water over stone, and it backed away. Its shape folded in on itself, compressed, became sleek and low. An otter again, way too large, way too wrong. It slipped into the pool and vanished. The forest went silent, not even wind. We got extracted 19 hours later. Federal helicopter, no insignia, recovery team in hazmat suits. Wouldn't answer questions. Official report said the kayaker presumably drowned, and the other bodies were historical remains. Weeks later, Sully disappeared. Her truck was found at Stillwater Cove. Engine cold, door open, no trace. I went to Elder Tagish. He didn't seem surprised. Said, "You walked the Stillwater. The Kushtaka showed you its face. Most don't return." I asked him why no one warned us. He said they had, years ago, but the government chose to listen to the land's prophet instead of its warnings. "What does it want?" I asked. He smiled. Sad smile. "The water keeps its mouths closed until someone opens them. The Kushtaka guards the Stillwater. It takes what crosses the threshold. It's older than names, older than maps. Can it be stopped? You don't stop the land, Ranger Brennan. You respect it, or it takes what it's owed." So this is my record. Stillwater Cove is not empty. It never was. Something lives there. Something that mimics, hunts, and remembers. If you ever find yourself on that coast and hear your name whispered from the trees, do not answer, do not follow, and whatever you do not go to the water. My name is Maya Reeves. I'm 24. I was trained in fire surveillance, VHF operations, extreme weather nav, all the standard stuff. I got stationed at Denali's Overlook Tower for a 14-day rotation, youngest ranger ever assigned there. I'm recording this because the Park Service erased what happened. But there's still a tower out there transmitting every night, and someone needs to know why no one ever comes back from it. When the helicopter dropped me at the site, the pilot didn't even shut off the rotors. He shouted over the noise, 2 weeks, October 26th, 0900 sharp. Don't miss the window. Then he was gone before I'd even cleared the LZ. Overlook Tower stood alone on this ridge. 30-foot steel frame, glass-walled cab at the top, built in the 40s sometime. Inside it was all standard issue. Firefinder, rations, cold weather gear, 2 radios, a modern Motorola and this old one from the 60s marked decommissioned. The backup wasn't supposed to work. First night was calm, beautiful sunset, pink and gold on the snow. I texted my girlfriend, "Made it. View is unreal." She replied, "Stay safe. Don't let the ghosts get you." I laughed. There were no ghosts. Just me, the wind, the stars. Second night, 3:47 a.m. I wake up to a voice crackling through the dead radio. Man's voice. Steady. Professional. Overlook watch to base. I've got smoke. Bearing 090 degrees, 4 miles. Requesting confirmation. Old call sign. Park Service hasn't used it in decades. And then the brass firefinder. The mechanical one, no motors, no power. It turned on its own. The Alidade swung 90 degrees east. Perfect alignment with the bearing. I looked out. No smoke, no fire, just snow and silence. The old radio's power cable was unplugged. It shouldn't have transmitted anything. Later that morning, I'm flipping through the logbook and the pages were yellowed, ink faded. Entry for October 13th, 1953. Day 2, 0347 hours. Radio interference on secondary band. Voice requesting confirmation of smoke at 090 degrees. Same timestamp, 71 years apart. After that, it didn't stop. Every night, 3:47 a.m., the same transmission. Then others started joining in. Different voices, different decades. A woman whispered, Den 7, this is Overlook Secondary. I'm seeing movement in the tree line. Another voice, older. Overlook Prime to any station. Something's wrong with the logbook. The dates are going backwards. I found the old personnel roster. Ranger Thomas Kell, disappeared 1953. Ranger Sarah Voss, 1978. Walked into the woods, never came back. Ranger Dominic Ruiz, 1995. Found dead of hypothermia with a working heater beside him. All of them. October. All disappeared on day 14. By day 5, the logbook started updating itself. I watched new lines appear in fresh ink. Day 5. I need to leave. I don't think I'll make it to day 14. It was my handwriting. I didn't write it. I radioed headquarters. Chief Ortega brushed me off. Isolation-induced anxiety, he said. Every first-timer goes through it. Hold your post or face termination. But the tower didn't want me to leave anyway. Every time I tried to descend the ridge, the trails looped back. My GPS showed miles traveled when I hadn't moved 50 feet. The world just folded around the tower, pulled me back like a tide. The voices got bolder, started using my name, Maya Reeves. Go to the bearing, go to 090, complete the watch. They spoke through everything, radios, static, even the hum of the heater. I stopped sleeping, stopped eating. I could feel them watching from the tree line, movement flickering just past my light. Then the frost came. One morning, ice formed on the inside of the glass. Words appeared, etched in perfect block letters. Complete the watch. That night I saw them. Figures in the snow below, translucent, faintly glowing. Faces I recognized from the logbook photos. Thomas, Sarah, Dominic. They raised their hands and pointed east. Same bearing, 090 degrees. I called Ortega again, screaming, "You knew. You sent me here." His voice came through calm, almost bored. "Every tower needs a ranger, Maya. You'll understand soon." They started shouting through the radios in unison, voices layered and endless. Day 14 is tomorrow. You know what happens? We all stayed. You will too. I couldn't. I smashed the window with a fire extinguisher and jumped. 14 feet into the snow. My ankle broke on impact, but I ran. I didn't stop until the tower disappeared behind the trees. The voices followed me through the forest. "Come back. You cannot leave." They got fainter when I crossed a frozen stream, finally vanished when I reached higher ground. At dawn, I activated my emergency beacon. Rescue helicopter found me 8 miles south. I was half conscious, hypothermic, babbling. They took me to Anchorage. Ortega was there with a discharge form already written. Psychological unfitness, termination with prejudice. He said, "Sign it or we pursue charges for desertion." I signed. 2 weeks later, a junior ranger posted a photo on the Denali network. Him smiling in front of Overlook Tower. Caption, "First solo assignment. Wish me luck." I tried to call him. No response. His file vanished from the database within 24 hours. I dug deeper. Found an archived memo from 1956, buried in old consultation records. Local elders warn the site is a place where the lost call to the living. Recommend abandonment. Signed by Robert Ortega, Regional Director, 1954 to 1981. Chief Ortega's grandfather. If you're ever offered a solo rotation at a Denali fire lookout, ask for the designation code. If it's Den 7, refuse. The tower doesn't need a ranger. It needs a replacement, and it never forgets who tried to leave. My name is Cole Hatcher. 10 years with Alaska State Parks. Last 6 as law enforcement handling human-wildlife conflicts. I know what bears do. I know how wolves kill. I've investigated 4 fatal maulings, put down 3 problem bears, relocated dozens more. What I found at mile 47 wasn't any of them. Started on Valentine's night. Dispatch called while I was finishing dinner at the Ketchikan station. Logging crew, 4 men, all experienced, failed to report in from Logging Road 6420, deep in the Tongass. Their supervisor found the truck abandoned, engine running, headlights on, driver's door open, one man's jacket in the snow, soaked with blood. No bodies. He called it a bear attack and got the hell out. I geared up. Glock 20, 10mm hardcast, penetration strong enough for Cape Buffalo, total overkill for Alaska, but comforting. Grabbed my maglite, bear spray, trauma kit, body camera. 45 minutes later, I'm standing in the truck's headlights. Engine still idling, cab heater blasting, coffee in the cup holder was still warm. The jacket had been torn with precision. parallel cuts, like industrial shears, not claws. Blood was fresh. That's when I saw the tracks. Huge, 8 inches across, 5 toes. Adult male grizzly by the look, except the stride was wrong. Bear's shuffle. These steps were long, deliberate, 6 feet apart, straight as a plumb line. Then halfway to the tree line, the front prints changed. Claws narrowed. Impressions split into 4 deep gouges, like the paws turned into segmented appendages. Mechanical, insect-like. I followed the trail maybe 50 feet where it ended at this massive circular depression. 12 feet across, the earth had been pushed up from below, not dug down. Center had a perfect 4-foot hole descending at an angle into frozen ground, smooth as glass, bored by something that shouldn't exist in permafrost. 4 sets of boot prints led straight into it. None came back. Then I heard it. Help! It's got help! Man's voice, muffled, desperate, rising from deep underground. I shouted, Alaska State Parks, if you can hear me, respond. Silence. Then the same voice again, but clipped, mechanical, like a recording losing signal. The ground trembled under my boots. Snow collapsed around the hole. Then 30 feet to my left, another opening burst through the ground. Then another. 6 new holes in a circle around me, snow still falling from their rims. It wasn't one tunnel, it was a network. Something moved below. I saw it for just an instant through a break in the snowpack. Pale, segmented body sliding horizontally through the tunnel. It pulsed like muscle. Dozens of jointed legs pressed against the walls, propelling it forward. I ran for the truck. At the first hole's edge, my light caught something. A boot, still laced, foot still inside, severed cleanly at the ankle, steam rising from it in the cold. The leather glistened with this translucent residue that hissed when it touched the snow. Then the voice came again, behind me. Ranger, over here, I got away, help me. I froze. The tone was wrong, too precise, rhythm off, like it was repeating learned phrases without understanding. Then it used my name. Ranger Hatcher, please, it's coming back. I hadn't said my name over the radio. The ground trembled, all 6 holes vibrating in unison. It was tracking me. I sprinted. The road exploded in front of me. Asphalt and frozen dirt blasted upward. 8-foot hole opened between me and escape. From it rose something that should have stayed buried. At least 12 feet of body visible, 6 feet wide, covered in segmented chitin the color of bone. Each plate gleamed with slime. Between the joints, rows of hooked legs churned against the air. The head looked like a bear skull twisted inside out. When it opened its mouth, the jaw split in 4 directions, like a cross. Grinding plates rotated within. 8 compound eyes shimmered green in my headlights. It didn't roar. It clicked, mandibles rattling in fast, deliberate rhythms, like language made of bone and machine. I fired 3 rounds center mass. Bullets sparked off its armor. One found a seam. The thing flinched, but kept advancing. Behind me, another hole erupted. Second creature surfaced. Smaller, faster. The clicking synchronized between them. Communication. Coordination. I reversed, stumbled, ran into the forest. The ground pulsed beneath me as they tunneled below, moving faster than I could sprint. Every 30 seconds, a new hole erupted ahead, cutting off escape. They weren't chasing. They were hurting me. Finally reached a granite ridge, solid rock. I collapsed behind it and activated my sat phone. Ranger Cole Hatcher, badge 4127, requesting immediate extraction. Multiple fatalities. Unknown hostile int. Line went to static. Then faintly under the noise, I heard the clicking again. The ridge cracked open. One of them emerged fully, 30 feet long, body undulated in a wave of segmented motion. 20 pairs of legs digging into rock like it was soft soil. The mouth opened in a cross-shaped bloom. From the center extended this long proboscis tipped with serrated hooks. I emptied my magazine. 15 rounds. Some penetrated between plates. The creature shrieked, piercing metallic sound layered with wet agony, but didn't retreat. The armor shifted, closing over the holes. It was sealing itself. Then 3 more surfaced behind it. They didn't attack. They watched, observed. One slithered toward the logging truck, bit into the steel frame, crushed it effortlessly, like it was studying how human structures broke. The sat phone reconnected for a moment. This is Coast Guard Kodiak. Line cut, drowned in static as the largest creature surged toward me. I don't remember how I made it 6 miles south to the highway. Next thing I know, I'm flagging down a transport truck. Driver thought I'd escaped a bear mauling until the troopers arrived. When they went back to mile 47, they found the same scene. Abandoned vehicles, holes in the ground, blood, silence, no bodies. My body camera was recovered. Last 15 minutes were corrupted. Static, distortion, fragments of the same clicking sound. 2 days later, the road was bulldozed and closed due to avalanche risk. Federal team debriefed me. No agency name, no badges. Told me I'd witnessed a subsidence event and possibly a disoriented grizzly. Case closed, but I found something they missed. 1904 Timber Company ledger in the Ketchikan archives. Entry read, lost 6 men to the diggers at mile 47. Tlingit guides warned us. Recommend permanent closure. I spoke with Elder Joseph Kadake from Klawak. He didn't hesitate. The Gooch Saagi, he said. The burrowing ones, older than the ice. They sleep deep, but when we blast and cut the roots of the earth, they wake. Why doesn't anyone warn us? I asked. He sighed. Because warning means shutting down the logging, stopping the money, so they bury it. Now every night, seismic sensors near mile 47 pick up rhythmic vibrations under the bedrock. Steady, coordinated, like something breathing in unison. Something still down there, still digging, still waiting. If the ground moves beneath your feet in the Tongass, don't stop to listen. Don't look for the sound, because it's already found you. Some warnings aren't carved into signs or printed on maps. They come from rangers who've seen too much and lived to tell it. Stillwater Cove, Denali's overlooked tower. Mile 47 in the Tongass. 3 testimonies. 3 places erased from the record, yet still very much alive. If you ever find yourself there and the land starts whispering, don't listen. Because in Alaska's wilderness, the silence itself is a predator.